Morning, and thank you for joining this digital weather now. Time now right now. It's 11 o'clock. Thank you for joining us. Safe Touch Security First Alert Live Radar. We are dry this morning. A couple of showers here down near Valdosta, Nashville, Fargo, Homerville, very far south central and South Georgia. They're approaching the Florida state line. We actually have a cold front here kind of stretched along this area south of the Altamaha River, and more recently sparking some showers and thunderstorms off of the Glen and McIntosh County coastlines, but these showers moving south, and you see how they develop and not much lingering cloud cover behind them. That's because drier air is working its way in. In fact, I can show you this not with the temperature map, but as I kind of load up my forecast scenes here, just bear with me. We're going to take a look at moisture across the area, and that is what we'll notice here over the next few days. The drier air. It's still going to be hot out there. We're still going to, have heat indices in the upper 90s, lower 100s, but actually not too much bigger, or I should say hotter than the actual air temperature. So here we are. I'm zooming down into this. Notice a dew point in Houston, New Orleans, there mid to upper 70s, but for us, the city of Savannah, 68. Kind of misplotted the map there, but these lighter greens up here, dew points in the 50s, and that's kind of encroaching on our inland communities. Most of us, though, at dew points in the 60s, a measure of moisture in the atmosphere. So basically what that number means is that if the temperature cooled to 68, we would have a lot of cloud cover, we would have fog, air would pretty rapidly cool, condense, and you get the clouds and stuff like that. Now, we're not going to be 68 this afternoon, but typically, if you have warming temperatures, 80s, and you have dew points in the 60s, that's a pretty big 20-something degree difference there. When you have a big difference between the dew point temperature and the actual air temperature, it will feel drier the greater that difference is. So already 86 in the city of Savannah with the dew point in the 60s, that 20 or so degree spread, pretty significant. So it's going to be a relatively dry feeling day out there. And not only feeling, but also we're going to walk through the hour-by-hour forecast here. And I'll talk about the chance of rain today, extremely low, and that drier trend is going to continue for the next few days. But also want to let you know I'm going to the WTOC TV Facebook page. You can find me on Twitter at WTOC11 as well, WTOC Cutter Martin, and at Cutter Martin Facebook and Twitter there. So if you ever have any questions about the forecast, weather, nerdiness questions, whatever you have, feel free to ask me, and I'd be happy to talk a little weather nerd stuff with y'all and hopefully answer some questions. Right now, though, we're talking about the forecast. Let's see. Jeffrey says, bring it on. Absolutely drier air on the way. Hey, Paula. Hey, Kizzy. Thank you for listening. Sarah, Kizzy, Diane, loving the sunshine. Jessica is. Thank you for watching. Tamika, watching from Beaufort, South Carolina. You all are one of the drier locations today. Of course, the dry air filtering in from north to south, so low country areas north of I-16 seeing the most sunshine, some of the driest air today. And going hour by hour, this is a forecast model, not actual radar, but it can forecast what radar may look like through the day. And notice by 1:30, 2:30, we're starting to see a couple of showers develop here well south and west of the city of Savannah, maybe south of the Altamaha River along I-95, also Coffee, Jeff Davis counties, Hazelhurst, and Douglas, this area. You could get an isolated, really isolated shower. It's quick, it's brief. But most of us, like 97% of us, going to be dry today. That's why rain chances are oh so low. So we may have the isolated shower chance in the forecast here southwest of the city of Savannah through 6:37 or so. And then with the loss of daytime heating, that rain chance goes down. It plummets down to 0. So if you're playing hooky today, you have the day off, maybe taking the kiddos outside, want to go to the pool. They've probably been begging for a few days now. Finally, a day where you don't really have to worry about showers and thunderstorms. That Savannah Metro, that low country rain chance, less than 20%. Communities I just talked about, though, a slightly greater chance of a quick isolated shower. Nowhere near worth canceling plans or anything like that. Just keep your lightning and precip alerts on if you're watching south of the Altamaha River and particularly north and west of Highway 84. You could get a quick little shower this afternoon. Obviously, the other big story here is the tropics, actually bigger than the actual forecast is. We are still tracking Tropical Storm Chris. No big changes here, looking gradually more impressive, more organized over the past several hours. This is a satellite loop for you, taking you back several hours, ending essentially now. And you can see it's just kind of wobbling around here. It looks like there's an eye, but in reality, what's happening is it's ingesting some dry air. So you are showing that circulation there, but it's not really an eye per se just yet, but it helps you ID or identify where that center of circulation is, where that area of lowest pressure is. Now, one thing I'm noticing today, especially, something that's going to keep the intensification of this storm gradual, it's not going to be a sudden sort of intensification, and it has been gradual so far, is that it is still ingesting or kind of sucking in this drier air. That's why you see no cloud cover on the northern side. It's pulling this in from its western side, wrapping it all the way into its centermost circulation there. And these don't like that. We need really moist air, tropical air for these to really feed and form, explosive showers and thunderstorms all the way around the center in order for it to quickly strengthen. We're not seeing that today, so I do think, at least not this morning, I do think intensification will be gradual through the day, but still forecast to reach hurricane intensity later today. As of the last update, sustained winds 60 miles per hour, pressure just less than 1,000 millibars. So, and actually this seems to be updated, it's covered up a little bit there, but nearly stationary. So this certainly has time to strengthen here, but pressure is not that low. Winds are not that high. We're going to need to see pressure come down a little bit more before the winds really start to increase. So, moral of the story here, all that considered, I think intensification will be gradual, and the best news out of all of this, it is heading away from the United States, forecast to reach, Category 1 intensity here Wednesday and Thursday as it finally picks up forward speed and moves away from the U.S. A coastal storm could impact, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, the Canadian Maritimes up here, but technically not tropical by the time it gets up there, but nonetheless, some gusty winds, some heavy rain up in that area. Elizabeth says we aren't at any threat. That is absolutely true. In fact, looking at rip current risk, and we tend to get this particular part of the forecast from the National Weather Service, they are declaring a low rip current risk today and for the next few days, and wave heights, just checking out the data, 3 to 4 feet, kind of peaking today, elevated levels 2 to 3 feet for the next few days. That is near shore water wave heights up and down the coastline, maybe a little bit greater as you get towards the Charleston Harbor area, but nothing crazy. So we're going to see a little bit of a choppy sea there, some increased wave heights, and a relatively low risk of rip currents, but I would not be surprised if we do see rip current risk increase here tomorrow into Wednesday, but still decent beach weather. Just make sure you listen to the lifeguards on duty, you look at what flags are posted, and just be aware that even on nice weather days when conditions aren't that favorable for rip currents, you can easily get them near Pierce and near Jetty. So be wary of those areas, and especially between Little Tybee and Tybee, that's another area that causes problems too. So, just a heads up, but no major issues. Kimberly, let's get over to Beryl, asking good questions today, Kimberly. No longer a tropical system, and I do have a video right now on the WTOC weather app if you'd like to check out that tropical update from earlier this morning. We do have showers and thunderstorms out here. Yes, there is still an area of low pressure, still being watched by the First Alert Weather team, but it has lost that closed circulation. Again, we need it to be a very closed, tight area of low pressure with winds rotating, counterclockwise in order for it to be deemed tropical. We don't have that anymore. So technically, by definition, not tropical, but still providing some gusty winds, some heavy rains here for the Lesser Antilles and the northern Caribbean islands as it moves off to the west and west-northwest here over the next few days. Conditions are not that favorable for re-strengthening once this emerges back towards the Bahamas into the southwest Atlantic, but we'll be watching it, and regardless, whatever remains of this mass of showers and thunderstorms, probably taking on a more northward heading and maybe even staying east of where Chris is right now. So even if this were to reorganize a little bit, encounter some better conditions, southwestern Atlantic later this week, not expecting any impacts here nor from Chris. So bottom line, No impacts here from Chris, no impacts here from Beryl. So that is good news. Of course, number 3 and what could be the second hurricane, that'd be Chris, of the Atlantic hurricane season. We are ahead of schedule by definition, but what has happened so far doesn't necessarily have a big weight on how we expect the rest of the season to play out. So just a heads up there, we are always watching it for you. Thanks, Anita. That means a lot. Thank you all for watching. Brenda wants to know rain on Wednesday p.m. I'm going to show you the 7-day forecast here quickly. Give you a first look at the extended outlook, and not looking too bad here. Rain chances low through Wednesday, Thursday afternoons. I think we'll start to see some isolated stuff, possibly Wednesday afternoon, especially Thursday afternoon, but it's not going to be a wet day. We start to get back to that familiar weather pattern, though. Lower temperatures, normal heat after being in the upper 90s Wednesday. Higher humidity, though, Friday to Saturday, because remember, today, tomorrow, Wednesday, relatively, by our local standards, dry heat. But then more moisture, more humidity, slightly cooler temperatures, slightly greater rain chances, scattered stuff Friday into Saturday. So hopefully that helps you plan your work week. Good morning to you as well, Angela. Suzanne, you're very welcome. Kimberly, hopefully that answered your question about Beryl. Tabitha, that means a lot. Thank you all for watching. And I'm wishing you all a wonderful rest of your Monday and rest of the work week. Chief Meteorologist Dave Turley is in the saddle here at WTOC Weather Center, updating that forecast. We'll have it for you coming up in about 49-50 minutes on the news at noon. You don't even have to be near a TV to watch it. You can catch it WTOC.com, Roku, Amazon Fire, also in the WTOC weather app. So for now, I'm going to sign off, wishing you an awesome Monday afternoon. Catch the forecast with Dave on the news at noon.